Hey, David McGuffin here. Welcome to Travel Talk Tuesday. I've got my little granddaughter Julia here with me, and you can tell probably that we are not in Greece anymore. We're in Tuscany, and the vineyards right here behind us, and this is the vineyards that belong to my friends, the Del Duca family, and we're staying at the Agriturismo Marcampo here for a few days, kind of taking a little vacation with our family. So tonight we're going to talk about Travel Talk Tuesday. We're going to be talking about the island of Hydra in Greece and showing you a little bit of that. But we did that we were in Hydra twice over the past few weeks, making some filming there and then taking two tour groups throughout Greece. And so we had a day trip to Hydra. So this that you see coming up next is my story and the look around the island of Hydra in the Saronic Gulf in Greece. Okay, back again on the island of Hydra. Walking down to my favorite beach here, Community Beach. The water is wonderful. My friends Lee and Diane and Charlotte are back here. We're gonna find a chair down here and go for a swim because we're loaded with sweat for a little 1.5 mile hike here. But what a great experience we're gonna have. This is the island of Hydra. It's a day trip from Athens. I'd love to have you travel with us here. Think about it. Your adventure starts right here at David McGuffin's Exploring Europe. That's davidmcguffin.com. Look up Greece trips. This is Vlaikos Beach.
I'm sorry. Yeah, these are stone bags.
Hey, not quite sure what I'm doing with this Kodak Pixel Pro. I've only used it a few times, but my gosh, I'm jumping into this water in Hydra. It's pretty cool. So here we go. 1, 2, 3. refreshing. Let me see if I can get these goggles on and go down and take a look. A huge boat just sped by. Let me let it calm down. I'll take a look under the water. Pretty impressive. I have to work a little bit more on getting this Pixel Pro to work. Figure out how it goes because I can't see any images on it. But Hydra, Greece, dipping in the water. It's a fantastic experience here. Adventure starts right here with David McGuffin's Exploring Europe. There we go.
After all.
Tell us about, what have we just done? We hiked up that trail and we're finally in the water.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
It feels so good. It's
You all like this place?
Oh, this is amazing.
It's amazing. What do you think, Lee?
It's
Pretty good? Yeah.
Every time we go somewhere.
There's a little restaurant nearby the beach where we like to go and get some shrimp and fish, and that was feta cheese and tomatoes we saw first. Then, of course, this is a Campari Spritz right here with some peanuts. I've got my feet up after the long walk back from town. That's kind of interesting as well. And here, these are our French fries and meatballs. And this is moussaka, a specialty dish from Greece as well. And then, of course, you always got to have some kind of dessert included, and that was local watermelon. This is Leslie having fun getting her photo taken at the dinner table, the lunch table. And this is Steve, Leslie, Charlotte and I, and Lee and Diane. It's just a little conclave here. There's 2 restaurants, 2 little beach clubs, a few little apartments to rent, but it is a fantastic place to get away from the hustle and bustle of the town of Hydra. Normally, this restaurant here is hopping this time of day. It's definitely lunchtime, around almost 2 o'clock or so, but not a soul here because of the coronavirus pandemic. I've been coming here for many years, but in recent years, many of these old donkey trails have been paved with stone and cement, and this is one of the recent additions. You might can see just beyond here an old Ottoman style bridge which goes over the runoff area when there's times of heavy rain or maybe even snowmelt to keep mudslides and everything from wiping away this area of town. So there's these sloughs or drains that run into the sea. So here I am at the apex of the Ottoman style bridge, looking, out of breath, looking back up this slough to the arid mountains on Hydra. I'm looking to the south here. I'll continue spinning, moving west, and then finally looking at the Velekos village, and to the south and the Peloponnesian Peninsula there in the background. It's about a 25-minute boat ride across there, maybe about 3 miles, and our beach is right down here in this area where we were earlier today. And a little video on the trail walking back in the direction of Hydra town from the settlement here. You can see quite a compound, and those in normal times, pre-COVID times, those apartments would be for rent, either on booking.com or by the local owners. Just a wonderful little village here. I've reached the crest of the hill here, and you can see right down here in this area is the several windmills, which marks the point to Hydra town. The path here is about a mile back to Hydra town, and this is a Saronic Gulf, but Hydra is one of the most beautiful islands on the Saronic Gulf. Going downhill now, so maybe I'm not huffing and puffing so much, but gosh, the first time I arrived on this island was in 1977. I was, I think, a 20-year-old in community college in Jacksonville, and my choir director, Don Thompson, had a history of taking his choirs on trips to Europe every 2 years, and I happened to be there when the cycle started, so we embarked on a voyage in May, I think, of 1977 to visit Greece for a week, to visit Israel, and a little bit of Palestine for a week, and then Italy for a week. And I count that as 2 life markers in my life. Number one, my marker for falling in love with traveling, because previously I had never left the United States. So I got on a plane. I woke up in Athens a day later, or a little more later, I guess, in the morning, and just fell in love with traveling and another culture in another country. It's also a major marker in my life as far as my music and my love of music, because previous to that time in that choir, I didn't know what I was going to do for my life. And as it turned out, I became a music teacher for 30 years. I started taking all my kids on trips to Europe, and gosh, for the last 20 years, I've taken whoever wants to go on trips to Europe. So that was a big marker, 1977, showing up here on this island of Hydra. I've still got some old, if you remember the Kodak 110 camera, a little very, very small film of my friend Doug and I on 2 donkeys riding up this path right here in Hydra. So, hey, you never know what you do when you're young, how it'll pay off in the end. But those were life-changing moments for my love of travel and my love of music and teaching. Hey, we're coming up to a little village. Let me show it to you. You know, this also might be a good time for me to mention to you that, wow, we're in June of 2021, right at the very crossroads of Europe opening up many of their countries for tourism. And Greece happened to be one of the first, along with a few other of the Balkan countries. And so we're here, like I said, just about a month into the new tourism boom. And you can see right now it's not booming so much. But if you ever wanted to travel to Europe, the next 6 months, I firmly believe, are the best time to do it, is the best time to do it, because it's almost like traveling 100 years ago. Not so much tourism, no tourist crowds anywhere, museums wide open. You can spend as much time in them as you'd like to. We were on the Acropolis in Athens yesterday, and I think my group, which was just about 20 people, combined with everybody up there, was maybe 50 or 60 people total, which is unheard of. Any other given year is totally packed out, shoulder to shoulder almost at the Acropolis. The queue, the line to get in, unbelievable. And I can imagine when we're going to Italy in a couple of weeks, seeing Michelangelo's David in Florence and experiencing the Sistine Chapel and the Vatican Museum are going to be very much the same from what my friends in Italy tell me, that you can go in, sit, and enjoy it without any rush to get out. So this is a once-in-a-lifetime chance, a once-in-a-century chance to experience Europe like it used to be before the age of tourism. And boy, I've got some tours for you. We've got some tours in the Balkans. We've got a few tours in Greece, a few tours in Italy, and then later, those are all in the fall, so September and October. And then later in the year, at Christmas time, and the first few weeks of December, we're visiting Christmas markets in Germany and Austria, and also Eastern Europe, which I call from Budapest, Vienna, back to Munich. So check it out. We'd love to have you travel with us. These water taxis make it pretty simple to run back and forth between the little villages and beaches along the coastline of the island of Hydra. And for about €5, you can take a water taxi back from Blackhouse Beach to Hydra town. So that way you can hike out there if you'd like to, get all hot and sweaty, go swimming, eat some lunch, and then take a water taxi back without being wet or sweaty when you return back to the town. It's a pretty good deal to do that. So that's another taxi right there in front of us as well. We're now pulling into the harbor. You can see some of the yachts here that have docked. There's a harbor master that tells you where to go, where you go to dock and put your boat. But mostly there's fishing boats beyond these yachts. So you can see in the background the town of Hydra kind of spreads up the hill a little bit. Right in the corner here to Hydra Harbor. Almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so a bit more active than it was when we arrived at 10 this morning. But still, so charming and so desolate post-COVID here. No day trippers, just people that have had the strength and courage to find a way to get here. Some young kids, college kids maybe, and some savvy adults. Hydra is a fantastic destination. And now by 4 o'clock, the boutiques here are all open. I'm curious to see if some of the shops along the harbor are as well. But it seems like Hydra is thriving in spite of COVID-19. And pre-COVID times, these cafes here at the harbor at 4:30 in the afternoon will be loaded with people having aperitivos. It's the locals. But boy, what a way to experience the real life in Hydra. Got a few tourists coming in on the boat. A few savvy Americans maybe, or Canadians, coming in, going up to their B&B. Okay, that's going to wrap up our episode for Hydra, Greece. I hope you enjoyed looking at it. A lot of fun in the sun and water going on there. We had some really good beach time, some good food, and celebration with friends. So now from Tuscany, we're going to be talking about Tuscany in a few weeks, but next week we're going to be talking about the island in Greece of Santorini. Probably the most well-known island in Greece for us Americans because you see it all the time. The white churches with the blue domes, crystal clear water. But for now, we're in Tuscany. We'll be back here again. So Lillian's joined us and Julia's here too.
I love the view here.
You love the view? Yeah. What do you think about this place?
I love it. Awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. And
I've been swimming.
yeah, you've been swimming all day. And we're going to go into town here in a little bit, but we're going to sign off for tonight, and we'll talk to you a little bit later. Thanks for watching us. What do you say? Ciao.
See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Ciao.